We interrupt your regular programming for an important public service announcement. On that last video where I showed how to do exposure perfectly, a lot of people just didn't get it. So I'm going to tell you really quick the part that everybody was missing that they just didn't get. And before I get to that, really quick, I know this is called an 18% gray card technically. Don't concern yourself with what it's called, because logarithmically, yes, this is 18%. That's a technical term. Don't worry about it. What you need to concern yourselves about visually to your eyes and a histogram, this looks halfway between black and white. So on a histogram, it should be kind of in the middle. Some cameras are a little higher, some cameras are a little lower from the halfway mark. That's why I said 50%. And I'm talking to like normal people. I'm not talking to nerds or technical people here. I'm trying to make it easy for normal people to understand. So yes, this is technically called 18%, but to a histogram, this is roughly 50%. Okay? All right. Okay. So here's what you do. Let's get to this thing, and you only have to do this once. This is not a complicated procedure that you have to do every time you take pictures. You just do this once with your camera. All right. Take some pictures from light to dark. Take like a bunch of pictures, changing the exposure from too dark to too light. Put the thing in your computer and find the perfect exposure. Set your camera to that perfect exposure because you know that's the perfect setting. Now you pull this out. Put this in front of the camera. Fill the screen with it. If your histogram says 50% or your light meter, whatever it is, says 50%, halfway from black to white, good, you're done. You've got that. You know this is 50%, but not all cameras show this as halfway on the histogram. So you don't want to remember, well, like what is it, 37%, 85%? So in that case, forget this. You don't need that. What you want is a grayscale like this. It doesn't have to be this one. It can be like one of these, like a Kodak grayscale, something that has a bunch of different levels of gray. You can even print out your own on a printer, all right, whatever it is. I like this one because I like it, and it's got like 7 or 8 levels, and this works for me. So what you do is, again, you take those pictures you just took. You don't use this first because, you know, and people say, well, John Doe said to set the zebras at 75, and Bob Smith said to set the zebras at 85. Well, that's because it works for their camera. Every camera is different. Your camera is probably different than John Doe's, so don't listen to those people. Set your own setting. Get the right exposure on your camera to what looks good to you on your computer. Whip out one of these and look at what your zebra setting is. Turn on zebras and see how many of these are blinking. If this is not blinking, or if a lot of them are blinking, you don't have the right setting. So change your zebra settings. Don't change your exposure. Change your zebra setting. So change it to like 75, 85, 95, or 50, 40, whatever it is, until only the first one is blinking. Okay? All right, and then from that moment on, just leave the zebra settings where they are, leave zebras activated, leave that setting, and you'll never have to do this ever again. You just do it once. So now when you're out in the world and you want to take a proper exposure, you just have somebody hold up a card, zebras is already activated, and you just change your exposure, your f-stop, your ISO, or your shutter speed until only the first one is blinking and you're done. Literally takes a second and a half. It's that fast. This is not a long, lengthy process that you have to do every time you take a picture. People think like this is a big deal. It's not. You have the person hold a card up, or you put a card on a tree, whatever it is that you're doing, and you just change your exposure until only the first one's blinking. That's it. I mean, you're going to change exposure anyway on your camera, so you're not doing any step more than you would normally do with your camera. So this isn't an extra step. This isn't like more work that you have to do. People think it's like extra work. It's not. Because you've already got zebras activated. Are you getting this? I hope you are, because this is so easy. The secret, again, the step that most people don't understand is you got to take a bunch of pictures first with your camera, not using any of these, and then put it in your computer and find out what the perfect exposure is, and then you change the zebra settings until only the first one's blinking. And from that moment on, you don't change anything. You just, okay, I think you're... Come on, please tell me you're understanding this. It's so easy. It's so simple. And you never have to, it's like, anyway, all right. That's it. That's my public service announcement for the day. I hope you finally understand it. If not, play it over and over and over until you get it. I'll see you next video. Bye.